ready to rock and roll.
Right, so we've done it. Schultzed it. All the arches, all the floor, underneath the floor as well, and obviously the rear arches as well. So it's all Schultzed. So really all the rust is off. It's been gen lighted to turn any rust that there was into some kind of metal. Then it's been hemerited and red oxide. Then there's that bituminous aluminium paint put on it. And now the underseal, the Schultz on there. So it's about 7 cans of Schultz on there now, at about £7 a tin. So it's not bad, really, is it now? So I've done the inside as well. It's supposed to be good kind of soundproofing, sound deadening as well. So if you can see it there after all the insides here, because you can squirt it inside these as well, inside the doors, inside the arches down there. Not arches, passenger panels. Because in there they have like sound deadening anyway there. So it's all in there as well. So that's it. So moving on. Evening guys. Right, welcome to the Beetle rebuild. We're now here. Floor is, can you see there? The floor's all undersealed and stuff. Anyway, we're caliper brake rebuild we're doing now. Now with the front discs on these, they've got, let me show you this here. We've got one piston in this side here, and there's one in that side there that I might take out. I spent all week trying to get it out. I finally shut out to get it out. The way to get it out, you have to hold one, basically stick it in a vise, and then you apply pressure through your here. Where can you see it on my camera here? Here. This is where the brake fluid gets pumped in here. You apply some kind of pressure through there while that is clamped, and hopefully it will force that one out, except if it's been on the car for 40 years, in which case it may not come out. So neat little trick. I saw this one on YouTube actually. Get yourself one of these from the car place that does the tyres, and this normally has like a big kind of nodule at the end of it, and that basically goes into your tyre, and all you do is you cut the end of it off and angle it kind of something like this. Then you can then put it in, I'll show you now, then put it in there, wind it in there, keep winding it in there, wind it all the way in. Apparently you can get a proper connector for putting on there and winding it. Anyway, you can put it on there, wind it in, it will make a thread on it, and then while that is being clamped here, you can apply pressure with the old foot pump, if you will, and it keeps the pressure in there as well, which is pretty good, because normally the compressor is just going to blow it straight out again. Video's gone off. Right, so with that one you can maintain the pressure, and obviously if you want to knock it off you can just do this to release it. There's no need really, so you clamp that, put air pressure in there. Mine wouldn't shift though, because obviously you can compress air, and it was just compressing and compressing. Came out so far. Tried to use these babies to wiggle it out, but couldn't get them in. Couldn't get them into this gap here because there wasn't enough room, so I couldn't get it out. So thinking, oh, how the hell are we going to do this? So what I managed to do is we took this back out again here. So I thought, right, I need to put some pressure in here. So with the old grease gun, aka one of these here, if you take the end of your grease gun off, you will find this here, the thread on the end of your grease gun matches the thread on here. So wind that in there, and then obviously keep the other one clamped, which is what I did. Keep clamping that. Make sure your bleed valve is tight as well, otherwise the grease just comes out of there. Just keep doing it, and the grease can't go anywhere else. So basically it just shoves that piston out. So it came out first time round. So there's my tip for you. Every day's a learning day, isn't it, eh? So yeah, just clamp that one. Try air first of all. If air doesn't work, get yourself a grease gun and just keep doing it in there till it pops out. Anyway, it's come out now. The seal on that, the seal was knackered. You can see there, it's split. It's got holes in and all sorts. The splits are here. Where are we? See the splits there, which is like the water and stuff in. So it's corroded the seal and stuff. The little that one in there actually was pretty good. That one was deep inside there. That's alright, but obviously going to get a replacement kit, replace them both. That's what came out of mine. Obviously cleaned it up now. It has got, looks like it's a bit broken here. You can see, get the light on it there. looks like it's a bit broken, but it can't be because there's one on the other side as well. It's down in here. You see down there. You see in here, it's the same there as well. So apparently these need to go in kind of matching. So I don't know, it's something to do with the way the discs press on it, I suppose. That's what we're up to there. I thought I'd come out tonight, have a quick go in the garage. I thought I'm only doing a little job, so I need to put my overalls on. So I put my best t-shirt on, this one. Straight away, grease. Spits up here. Ruined the t-shirt now, it's got grease on it. Drop the caliper here. So if you're in the garage, put your overalls. Hello again and welcome to the Beetle. We've been neglecting it all summer, so we're back on again now. It's a case now of biting the bullet, buying some parts, putting them in. Started today on the torsion, what's he called, the torsion arm? Track control arm. Track control arm is in fact, see it there, let's get the camera here. This here is the track control arm. Track control arm, and you can see McPherson strut sits in there, and this end here is what goes in the chassis, and then basically that passes on the chassis, and then basically that moves up and down, and then any movement needed, this thing, obviously this here will swivel. It does swivel, you need a bit of weight on it here, but this thing here does all the swivelling and things as need be. McPherson strut fastens in there, so we've had to replace all the bushes and things in here. These things you can see, where are we? These here, these have been replaced, and then the one down here as well has been replaced, and this here has been replaced as well. Swines to get off, but we got them off anyway, and the technique to get them off, let me flick this phone and I'll show you how we did it. Okay, some things you cannot do in selfie mode. Right then, so we had to get these out. The other ones were nothing like those. They were big, horrible things like these, so they've been replaced. Now then, the one that went into here, what was in there was a little bit like that one, but it had this, it had rubber, and then it had a metal sleeve around the outside as well. So basically it's a case of knocking this one out. So the way we got it out, roughly speaking, give you some idea, you either get yourself a press. If you haven't got a press, you need some kind of tubing or something. You get something bigger diameter than this, which was this. This went on the back side, i.e. like that. And then we got this, okay, lump of pipe, which is the same size as that, or a socket will do. And then we put it in the vise, basically, and then we just squeeze it. As you squeeze it, it forces this, comes through to there, and out of the end here will pop out your piece of metal. Once that was out then, we had to push the rubber out. There was still a sleeve in there as well. Struggling to get anything big enough to push the sleeve through. I had a socket this big, which was just about, that back end of it was about the right size, but it wouldn't knock through. So we had to take the blade out of the hacksaw, and stick the hacksaw blade through it, cut the sleeve, and then knock it through. So that's what we did there. And then putting them together again, basically it was a case of, this is what you get really. I got these from the Volkswagen Heritage. You get a set for about 40 quid, which does the whole, does that one, and the torsion bar that goes on the front as well, which looks like, you can see in the old catalogue here, it's all this set here, which does this one, all these round here. And there's a set as well, and these fastened on the front as well. So we'll show you those when we do them as well. So yeah, putting these on really, what it's a case of doing is, you end up with two of these. Basically they go on there, and on the other side as well. Once they're on, what you do then is, stick it in a vise, and you force through these. That's it, put it in a vise, compress it in, easy, that was done. Be really careful though, they look the same diameter and everything. The only difference is one of them has got a smaller bore on the inside, so you need to make sure you get them right way around or they won't fit. Going back to the old Beetle in the corner over here, the thing we're going to show you in the front of the car is this here. Now we've got the new bushes for that one there. Now that one there is the thicker one, which is that thicker one there. The other one, just about see it there. That's the much thinner one. So wait, it attaches to the chassis on the thinnest one. Opposite to what I thought, but it's right. So thinnest one goes to the chassis. So thinnest one, but I suppose there again, thinnest, but also the thickest shank. So thinnest one is going to be that one. So that one's going to go on there, with those two there. And the other one, that one, them two there, are going to go in that bit there. Once that's done there, we then have the other one of these to go on as well, which is this bit here. So that is then going to sit onto there, and once that's on there, your McPherson strut sits in there. You hear, or when you're buying bits and pieces, you hear about saying is yours a 2 bolt or a 3 bolt. This is the 3 bolt. Mine's a 1303. I think the newer one is the 2 bolt. I think, I'm not too sure. Right, so that's up to now. So we'll get that put in, and we'll show you a bit more once that's done. Okay, so it's in the vise again now. I've just put the rubbers in first, and then just press them in. I've got this lined up there now, and all you do now, I'll just put a bit of WD-40 kind of stuff, just a bit of this, just on here, so it's going to make it slide a bit better anyway. That goes on there, and then carefully, just slowly start winding that. One-handed, one hand on the phone, and that goes in like that. Once that's in there, sorted. Right, one in. Which looks like this. Bit mucky, but it's in there, nice and easy. And to do the other one, again a bit of spray on there. That one just pops on there. They actually push in quite a bit, these anyway. So that one goes in there. Falls off, turned it one-handed. Now we've lost it on the floor. The floor, everything disappears. So that one goes on there. Then, some things you cannot do one hand. Then it goes in the vise. Now last time they didn't seat in perfectly, so let's put a bit of spray on there anyway. Hopefully this will persuade them a bit more. Give it a bit of a squeeze now. So they should be lovely. And hopefully if we can rotate it a bit now, it might just kind of help them on their way. Right, let's see what's that one taking out. Okay, so that didn't work at all, they came straight out. So the trick is put them in there, the bar's in there as well now, and then give it a squeeze with the bar in. And hopefully the bar will help it spread out and make sure they stay. Fingers crossed. So now we've got the bar across the middle now, so hopefully if we can pivot it now, it might kind of help it seat. It's going to be clamped in the car anyway, so it's not like it can go anywhere. Right, so take it out now, let's see what we're up to. And you can see there it's almost popped out again. So this one hasn't gone very well. Right, I'm going to say, don't put WD or anything on these. They push in and out quite easy by hand, but then they fly out again as well. So this now is kind of held in by the vise, but I'm sure if I take it out, it's just going to pop out. This is one we did before, and this one has stayed in. But I don't know how long it actually stay in for. Is it coming out? I don't know. It is a little bit out there anyway now. So the sooner we get it in the car, the better, I suppose. So anyway, so I'd say don't bother with lubricating it because they go in anyway. Right, that's it for now. Go and get some tea, and then we'll put this one on the other end as well. Okay, so going with the we're going with this now. It will come out a little bit, but obviously we have to make sure we when we take it out, we put it on the car pretty sharp before it flies out. But it should be all right. So we've got the bottom ball joint here. The bottom ball joint does come with this on just to protect it. So we'll undo that one there. Again, that's going to come off like that. That's just purely protection, this. So you can see in there, there's all the grease in there. Basically, when the seals have perished, like in the other one, all the grease comes out of here. so it's a goner. So the old ones show you. So obviously here's a lovely new one. Here are some of the old ones, and you can see all the rubbers. Can you see there or not? Let's get a light on it. Rubber there is all kind of perishing and splitting all around here. It's come away from there as well. So basically it's all just kind of dried out. It is 40-year-old, bless it. So there we're gonna. So new one. Here you can see the old one where it goes down. So that one goes straight in there. So that one goes in there, and that's it. Job done there. This little nut here obviously goes on there. Now these have to be torqued up as well. The correct torque. They are a locking nut, which means inside they've got a nylon washer. Show you. See inside there, the blue. That's a nylon washer. So once it's gone on so far, the nylon washer gets in. It'll get really hard. You can't hand tighten it, but obviously stops them coming out. Right, on the tie rods, a lot of them used to have split pins on. They all tend to have these on now, so I'm hoping this is their new way forward, because the new ones haven't come with any fittings for split pins and things. Right, okay, so what we've got here is, this is what we call our bottom ball joint. So if we go back into the old Haynes manual, you'll see for the ball joint, track control on bottom ball joint, you've got two measurements. You've got 29 pounds per feet or 4 kilograms per metre. So get yourself your torque wrench here, loosen the back end of it off here on mine. Can't do it one-handed. Okay, I loosened it off anyway. So what you're looking at here is, it needs to be 4. On here, my little bench here, it does say, if you make it out there, it does say 4.3 there. So what I did, I wound that up to 0. Hang on a second, we'll show you exactly. Okay, we're back on again. So what you do, on my torque wrench here, I loosen it here. Once that's been loosened, I can wind the handle back now. What I do, I wind the handle down until the 0. You can see on the right hand side there, we've got, you see there or not, it does say 4.3, and the little line when it comes down to. So I've got the 0 on there. So if I do it there, it's 4.3. However, if I take it down 3, it will then be 4. Okay? So what I'm going to do now is, I'll try and do it one-handed. So I'm going to take it down. It wasn't 0, there's 1, there's 2, and there's 3. So I've reduced it by 3. So now it will be 4. So I can either do it that way, or I can do it the imperial way on the other side, just different gauge, it's basically the same thing. So once that's been done and tightened there, all you do then is obviously put it back on here and just continue the old tightening project. So basically just going to tighten it until it clicks. Okay, so trying to tighten mine up with the torque wrench here, it just gets spinning round. Basically on this one here, you can see it, we've got a little hexagonal nut in here, so that fits in there anyway. So basically I have to get a spanner on it, hold this, and then put the spanner on. However, once you've got down part way, it does stop spinning round, so it's not too bad. So now it's stopped spinning round, so torque wrench on. Now some torque wrenches are different, I believe. Some just kind of stop tightening when you get to a certain thing. Mine's different. Tighten mine when it's the first click you hear, that's when it's tight enough. So if you're not careful, you can just go beyond it. So I'll bring it down now and you'll hear a click any second. Right, so that was the first click. So that's it. It's come off as well. Right, so, but if you weren't careful, even though I've heard the first click, it will let me go on and just keep tightening it. This is a silver line one. Got loads of good reviews and things. But yeah, wait for you to hear the first click and just stop, don't go mad on it. But yeah, so it works. So that's that done. So that's that side done as well. So that's it for now. Right then, put a lick of paint on it and put it on. So bit of satin black, and there we have it. So that's in there. When I pulled the car to pieces, I didn't take note. On here, there's like an eccentric washer. So this bolt here goes through a washer, but it's off to one side. And on the other side, there is the same thing. You probably can't see it there. So anyway, you're supposed to take note what angle it's at. Presumably, you can throw this further out or in, I presume. But I didn't take note of that, so I've just put them both in the same way. So I don't know what difference it's going to make. So they're in there now. Just put them in loosely. Everything's going in loose actually now for the time being. So when it's up and running, eventually, we shall fiddle around with tracking and things, and that's where those things will come in. Regards dropping the car, as we thought we were going to. The guy off some website said that if you want a lower beetle, the right way to do it, I think it's called DIY School, the right way to do it, he said, is to get the McPherson struts, chop 2.5 inches off the bottom, and then stick in it a Scirocco pistons. I've ordered some Scirocco pistons, and they're nowhere near. They're the wrong size and everything. They're way too narrow. They're about 4 inches shorter, so it won't work. So I've bit the bullet, and we've ordered some shortened struts. So it's going to go short struts, short springs, and it's going to really, really low. So this is the front end now. Back into the garage world. Subaru engine there, waiting to go in. You can see there, that's the old spring. Pair of new springs there. So the new springs are supposed to lower it 2.5 inches. So presumably these new ones, I think they're adjustable as well. They'll adjust it loads. So we should have some mean bugger hopefully. Obviously we've been replacing all the ball joints in all the steering as well. All these, you can see on the ends here, all these are protective caps. Obviously it's a ball joint on there, same as down there. So replace those. All they need to do now, there's like a little washer come seal on here, and this is all corroded there. So I think one goes on there, and one goes down on here. That fastens to the body, that one fastens to the steering rack. On the steering rack we also need a new, not steering rack, steering box should I say. On the steering box, I think it's all working alright. Apart from this is all knackered here, so I've got to see if we can get a whole new seal for the end of it. Hopefully we can, we get most things. The arm we've just put on there, there's the other one. I've been quite careful because obviously there's a near side and an off side. I think the bars are the same, I'm not too sure, but obviously when you start putting all these things on, some are different threads and things. Actually these weren't, but you never know. So I've marked them offside and near side, so we kept them the same way around, because you never know, the lower sod and all that. Right, that's it for me for now. Okay, front torsion bars off. This is what it looks like. All horrible, and I've hit this with a stand laugh already to get all the crap off it, but it's still not very nice. But angle grinder, wire brush on the end of it, i.e. one of those, and we get this, which is quite lovely. It's quite a satisfying job actually. So I've just got the other half to do. Then we'll put a bit of satin black on it, bit of primer, satin black, and it'll look right as rain. And then these little babies are going to go on it. When I first got these, I thought, how the hell is that going to fit on there? But it turns out there is the slightest little crack in there, so that will actually push on, and they're going to go on something like that, with these bolting it to the body. So a bit more later on. Right, body gasket seal. Right, around the body you'll see all of our truss here is a rubber washer. So the body is going to come down on top of here, between, and obviously this rubber strip here, this stops any moisture getting in the car. So they come from VW Heritage. I think they're about 40 quid for an original. The original one's got the holes in them. But if you get a normal one, it's 20 quid for a repo. Repo's this one here. It's pretty good quality. Don't come with the holes in, but off eBay, get yourself a set of hole punches, which are these. Both end up really sharp. Make sure you put it down on something soft, i.e. a piece of wood, and then just knock them through. So what I've done, all the way across around here, up over the top. They're all done around here. So just put it on here now. Just put a little dot where it's going to be. So got to make the hole there and the hole there. So back on the other side, these are two I've just done. This one here, made some holes in there. So there's an upside down as well. That's going to go on there. Now they are going to move around if we're not careful. So what I've done, I've just got myself a bit of silicone sealant and just silicone them just underneath. What you don't want to do is get silicone all around here while your bolts won't go through. So just hold it in place when the body goes on, because there's going to be a bit of jaggling and things. See when it move in, and let me get the bolts through. Right, because we're going to put a Subaru engine, the gearbox mountings will shift around, so we need to replace those. So currently we've got a rubber block here and then a little thin piece of metal across here. Apparently we get some upgraded ones, so I think it's a whole new metal piece here with new mountings there and a heavier gauge one of those there, and then also on the front there's like a big chunky piece of rubber, I believe, behind that metal thing there, which has got 3 bolts to the frame head there. To do that we've got to move the gearbox forward, so I believe if we take these off here, it's not attached anymore, we can slide it forward. These little buggers here, they're really tight. Hit it with a WD-40, and I found that if you get some WD-40 on it and then let's stick a pipe or something on this, get a bit of leverage, or you stick your spanner on there kind of like this, then hopefully you can apply a bit more leverage. There you are, voila. So rather than hit it with a hammer. Right, because let's take the gearbox off. To get the gearbox off, the CV joints and things and the drive shafts had to come off. They're a pain to get off. And when I was taking them off, one of the drive shafts came apart and all the ball bearings came out of it. So I've had to try and repair that. So this is the drive shaft. This bit here is attached to the gearbox. This bit here is the bit which is attached onto your wheels. Left on there now is a concave washer, and the concave side, if you want, is going kind of that way. So it's pointing this way, if you know what I mean. You can just about see it there. Okay. Now then, I have spent about 3 hours trying to reassemble this. You've got 6 ball bearings in here. I went off the Haynes manual. Didn't help me at all. Just been on YouTube now, 10 minutes, sorted it out. But on here, when it all comes apart, I'm not taking it apart again, no way. But obviously, what happens is the drive shaft should go in here, and obviously, as you go in and out, up and down the corners, the drive shaft length is changing. So this moves it in and out, and then it can swerve around as well with your suspension and things as well. Now I managed to get it together before, but I got it together. Apparently you can't do it wrong. I got it together, it was solid, it wouldn't move at all. So when I assembled it, nothing moved. So the trick is, when you put it together, you will see that there's 2 close ones, then there's a big gap, and there's 2 close ones again, and then again 2 close ones. And if you look on the outside, you will see 2 close ones, big gap, 2 close ones. So you think 2 close go with 2 close. No, they don't. So what you do is, don't put your ball bearings in yet. Put the whole thing together, but get the 2 small ones facing 2 big ones. So the 2 small have to be lined up with 2 big ones. That's the trick. So once you've got it all together, don't put the bearings in, just put 2 small lined up with 2 big ones. Okay, then flick it on its side. You'll be able to angle it a little bit, but to push it out just a fraction, and then once it's angled to the side, pop your ball bearing in, work it back down again, and just fiddle around with it, and it will go back together again. So once it's in now, the trick is you should be able to, once it's done, this should come out this way and back in again and click in again, and that's the trick. So that's it. So now I can pop it back on there now. You'll see also on the inside edge, you see where the bright silver is there. That's where this washer was touching it there, and also inside here there's like a bevel. As you can see what this light or not. There's a bevel just there. The bevel side goes to the inside as well. So the bevel side. So basically, this is now going to go back on there at that angle. So we'll stick that back on there now, pack it with grease, and then back on the car again. Okay, so the gearbox mountings have arrived and things. So gearbox here, sprayed it up last night, looking quite nice. Just replaced this one on here. Apparently, we don't want to tighten them yet. There's two little bolts in here. Bolts are in there. They're just a little finger tight now. I think the thing to do is get it into the car, get it all level, straightened up and stuff. Tighten these up first, so we know it's straight with the chassis. And then once it's done, then we do these last. Apparently, it stops getting weird fractures and things in here. Doesn't seem a lot of difference here between these and the old ones, which are these. But the difference on these, you can almost kind of squeeze these in, a bit like a school rubber. Whereas these here, you know, this is like, it almost feels like, well, almost like plastic. You can't get your finger in it at all. It's just solid, this one here. Same on that side as well. For the front, we took off this one. You can see this bit here. These are the bits here, which basically there's two nuts hanging out the chassis at the front. So you loosen those, don't move them because they're really tight. Loosen them, and that basically will just kind of shove into the nuts and then tighten on it. This one here, you see, it looks knackered, doesn't it really? You can get your fingers in and you can squeeze this one. So obviously it's giving a bit. The new one, yet again, you know, it is like a solid piece of plastic, so pretty heavy duty that. So with the Subaru going in, we're going to need something proper. So that in next. That's top to go on it. Sprayed that last night. Looks a bit tasty now. So we'll stick that in.